Hey guys, it's Shay. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a very highly requested video, and it is the nursing video. So I have many people asking me what is the best route to accomplish your nursing goal. Should I go for my LPN? Should I go for my ADN? Should I go for my BSN? So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts, stay tuned. We're going to jump right into it. Okay guys, so starting off first, let's just talk about the different routes of nursing and pretty much the time length or what it entails. So you have your traditional LPN program. LPN programs should probably take about 9 months to a year to complete. That is based on the research I've done and from people I know around me that go to LPN programs. I'm not saying all of them include that amount of time, so it's about 9 months to a year. If you're getting your ADN or your associate degree in nursing, that usually takes approximately 2 years, like your usual associate's degree. By the time you calculate the time you have to put in for your prerequisites and stuff, depending on what program you go to and what college you go to, sometimes it can be 2.5. So just be mindful of that also. And the last program we're going to talk about is what I actually did, which is a BSN program, a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and that is a 4-year program, which is basically what is mostly required now for you to work in the hospital. Now, before y'all start bashing me down, don't get me twisted. I'm going to talk about what they are doing when they hire ADNs. So usually what most people will do is if you take the LPN route, I'll talk about the pros and cons, I guess, of each route, and then at the end I'll kind of tell you guys what I did and what I recommend. So LPN route pros, you definitely get better clinical experience. You have the opportunity to work while you're in school, and also when you get out of school, if you decide to pursue further, you already got that LPN in the bag. And I think it's just a great learning experience for those who also had other obligations or don't have the means or funds to go to school. Now, don't get me wrong, every person should have means or funds to get to school, whether it be taking out a loan, whether it be financial aid, etc. But sometimes I do understand it gets to the point where, listen, I'm a mom, I have 3 kids at home, there's no way I'm about to spend 4 years in school. So let me go ahead, get this LPN degree, start working and catch my coin, and then I will go ahead and work towards my other degrees, and that is perfectly fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. My only cons with the LPN is, of course, hospitals, at least around me in the New Jersey area, do not hire LPNs. You're going to end up, when you get out of school with your degree, either doing home health, nursing home, group home, things like that. So if you're looking to have that, hospital setting, and you're going for your LPN, just get that out of your mind until you decide to go back to school, because hospitals are no longer hiring the LPN. Do I agree with that necessarily? No, because I really don't feel like there is a big educational difference besides a couple things that you guys might need to come up to par on. A nurse is a nurse, and I believe that's solid and true. I do know that we go those who have bachelors go to school longer, there's a little bit more education involved, but that does not denounce the fact that an LPN is a nurse and she's educated and she is totally capable of taking care of her patients. So basically, like I said, that route is kind of a route I usually see people go, okay, I got kids, or I got obligations, or I have stuff going on, I need to get this degree quick. It's not saying that it's easier to do. It's not saying that it's an easier degree, but I'm getting this degree out the way so I can handle my family, I can work, and then maybe if I see fit, I can go back to school and work on the other degrees. So yeah, that's my pro and con, I guess, on LPN. Moving right along, pros and cons of an ADN. So that's your associate degree in nursing. One, you can complete it at a cheaper university or a community college, and that's a big pro. When I applied, I actually applied for ADN and BSN programs, so that'll be at the end when I cover my story. Another pro is you get out quicker. You only gotta do 2 years versus 4. You get a degree, so it's alright, that's great. Cons, hospitals are saying if you are hired with the ADN that you need to complete your BSN within a year or 2 of hire. So you're going to end up going back to school regardless. Is it to say that an RN to BSN program is 2 more years? It's hard for me to say because I've seen some that are like on an accelerated track. You only got to do 9 months, and then I see some that are actually like, no sis, you got to do these 2 extra years because you didn't go for your bachelor's. So in the long run, my only questions with that is, what is the best way out? Now with ADN, if you're going to get hired at a hospital and they tell you got to get it within a year, if it's a hospital you've been working for, you have the potential to apply for tuition reimbursement, which will make it an easy transition and it'll save you money. Now, if you're applying to a hospital that does not have a history with you or anything like that, you're going to pay for that BSN on your own. They might give you a little bit of money towards it, but overall, I just say, for me, it was, if I'm going to go to school, I want to go to school and get it done. Another pro, though, with ADN is you can start working, catch your coin, and then also go back to school for that BSN. So there's pros and cons to that also. Some people are like, I don't want to have to finish school and then end up going right back to school. Well, that's what you're going to end up having to do. They're slowly supposedly fading away with the ADN, which again, I can always say I don't understand why, because a nurse is a nurse, but I do understand the need for education, and also for a lot of the hospitals are magnet. So magnet is they want to see a hospital with bachelorette nurses. So that's another reason why a lot of these facilities are pushing people to go back for their BSN, because magnet, don't quote me, is one of those designations that funds a hospital. And in order to meet magnet requirement, there's certain things that have to be done. There's a lot of preparation for it. And bachelorette nurses is one of the requirements. So I think earlier there was like an 85% of the hospital staff requirement, but I think as we move along into the new years, I was told that it's going to end up being like all of the hospital is required to have a bachelor's. So that's another reason why I might say go for your BSN. So here we are at BSN pros and cons. So straight A's, it's a 4-year program, is a con, because don't nobody feel like being in school for 4 years, but most of us need to go to school to get bachelor's anyway. So pro, go ahead and knock them 4 years out and be done. You don't got to go back to school unless you decide to specialize or do something further with your education. You run that 4 shot and you're done. Another pro, I just feel like having that 4-year span of time is not to say that you have longer to study, and it's not to say that it's easier, because if you guys know, I talked about it in another video, people like to tell us BSN prepared nurses that we had the easy way out because we had 4 years. Okay, we have 4 years, but we basically all have the same curriculum. They're adding things into our curriculum along with leadership and ethics and things like that, because when you go to a bachelor's program, they're kind of preparing you to also not only be a staff nurse but potentially be a leader. And a lot of leader positions, case management, even nurse manager positions, somebody told me I could have applied for a nurse manager position because I have a bachelor's, and when I checked the criteria and talked to somebody in HR, they confirmed that. So things like that are reasons why maybe you want to go for your bachelor's, because not only do you knock those 4 years out, you get it done, you ain't got to go back, you have that extra information where you can possibly go further than a staff nurse, and you don't have to go back to school, you don't have to worry about starting work and then jumping back into school, things like that. But again, all 3 routes, a nurse is a nurse. All 3 routes are just as rigorous, but there's different things that apply to each route, and you also have to look at life situations. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're a traditional student, I'm hopping out of high school, I'm ready to, get my degree, get things done, go for your BSN, sis. Don't wait, don't stop. Just apply, get into that program, get it done. Let's say you're not a traditional student. You have kids, you have a family, you got things going on. If you got to do the LPN first, go ahead and do it. Start working. But one thing I always tell my LPNs, do not stop. Do not stop. I've had moms with kids in my BSN class. I have moms with kids that go on to get their ADN and then go on to get their BSN, or go straight from their LPN. There are LPN to BSN programs, if I'm not mistaken. So don't stop. That's my only thing I have to tell you. There's no down looking upon people going for their LPN and things like that. But the thing I always tell people is don't get stagnant and don't stop, especially if your ultimate goal is to end up becoming a registered nurse. go ahead and get that degree once you're ready to get it, and you can get your point and you can take care of your family while you're working your way towards that. So that's for the non-traditional student. Now, as far as money-wise, people always ask me, comparing the numbers. I did a little bit of research over the last week. The cheapest way out I see is ADN, especially if you already work for a hospital that will provide you with tuition assistance, or if you get hired at a hospital that will do a portion of your tuition or things like that. I went to a 4-year university. I went to the cheapest school in New Jersey. My loans are out the wazoo. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. I don't got to go back to school for nothing, so it's not a decision that I regret unless I want to go into a special degree. But it is a decision that I made, and I make money and I pay my loans, and I'm fine with that. Always look for the opportunities for scholarships. If you're eligible for Pell Grant or financial aid, you need to go to school to get your BSN. Don't I always tell people, don't waste money if you're able to, you know, do that. And another option also is, say you apply to BSN programs and you don't get accepted. It's not the end of the world. Apply to ADN programs, apply to LPN programs, but I always tell people, if you're going to apply to LPN, ADN, and BSN, take the acceptance to the program that has the most hierarchy. So say I apply to like 2 LPNs, 2 ADNs, and 2 BSNs. If I get into a BSN program, an LPN program, and an ADN, go for your BSN. It's competitive and it's hard. So if you get that higher hierarchy, just go ahead and get it done if you're able to. But say I apply to all those programs and I only get accepted to an ADN program. Okay, go for your ADN. Why not? Why am I going to waste time trying to keep applying for a BSN if y'all not going to accept me when I can just get my ADN and then try to transition? Same thing for LPN. If you've been trying and you can't get into these courses, most of the time LPN only requires a entrance exam, and I think it's either the HESI or the ATI. Don't quote me. I'm a BSN nurse, so I don't really remember. But take that entrance exam and get started in your career. You can progress as you can, sis. So overall, people will say, do you think you made the right decision, Shay? For my situation, like I said, being a traditional student, I did, which most people don't know, I went to a community college to get my health science degree, and then I actually found out I wanted to be a nurse. So that was 2 years wasted, but that was on my part. That has nothing to do with the whole situation. As a traditional student, I think I made the best decision. For me, physically, I was able to complete the 4 years. I had 4 years to do it. Even though I had already been in school for 2 and I was crying over those 4 years, I got it done and I don't got to go back for nothing. Financial-wise, yeah, I'm in loan payments, but you know what? In the end, I have a rewarding career. I have the career I want. When I interviewed for my institution, I was able to get a job right then and there. So there's no, I really can't say that I regret any of the decisions that I made. But for people who are out there trying to figure out which one I can go to, just take your time. Apply to, if you want a BSN, apply to only BSNs. I will tell you that. Don't apply to the other ones. And if you have to have a backup, do an ADN program. If you have a lot of life situations going on, apply to all 3 and see where you can go. But like I said in the beginning, if you get accepted to a BSN, an ADN, and an LPN, you need to take the higher hierarchy if it's within your life means, because overall, that's just, that's just typical with anybody. That's like applying to an Ivy League school and applying to a community college. If I have the way to make it and I get accepted to the Ivy League, why would I just limit myself to, the community college? Everyone's life is different and everything pans out different. But in general, like I said before, a nurse is a nurse. You're striving, you're making your way through. Make sure you get that degree, and in all, that's what's most important. But for people who do go for those LPN, ADNs, do not stop. I'm telling you guys right now, don't stop. Don't get content. Go and try to reach your highest potential. Not saying the potential you're at already is not great, but if there's opportunity and room to grow, I always tell people go for it. So all in all, we have talked about it. We have talked about our ADN, we've talked about our LPN, we talked about our BSN. Like I said, I feel comfortable with the decision I made. I'm very happy. I have no regrets, and I hope you guys are able to somewhat, based on this video, kind of get to a decision and make the decision that's best for you. There's no regrets in this nursing game. We're all getting it, and we're all getting it with this educated mind, and ready to take care of these patients and make sure they're on their well way. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning into this video. If you have any comments, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. I will keep it coming with the nursing videos as best as I can. But I will see you guys next time.